Hi. Hola from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Hello. Happy to see you here. Welcome. Today we're going to do a sweet little yoga pick-me-up. A quick practice just to get the blood flowing, get some energy through our bodies, but also whether it's at the beginning of the day, the end of the day, or right in the middle for, a good wake up in the midday sleepies. It's also a time that we can just come and be present and mindful of our bodies and our minds for just a few minutes. So, thanks for making a couple minutes for yourself. Let's go ahead and get started by closing the eyes, coming to a comfortable seat. I like to sit cross-legged. Your feet can come straight out. I like to also sit up on a prop. I'm just on a little pillow today. You don't need any materials today, any extra props. I could say that a block could come in handy. I'm traveling right now, so I don't have any with me, but I could always grab a book if I wanted or something like that. So keeping the eyes closed now, nice tall straight spine. We're just breathing here. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And a nice slow breath out through the nose as well. Keep breathing like this. Settling into the space. Taking a moment to notice how you feel. And we'll just come into a little pranayama to immerse us even more into the present moment. So we're going to do a little breath called straw breath. I'm sure it's called other things as well. We'll call it straw breath for today. So kind of make your lips like you're going to, drink through a straw. It looks a little funny, that's all right. And as you do, you're going to breathe in through the mouth. And exhale through the nose. In through the mouth. Hold at the top. Exhale through the nose. Breathe in through the mouth. Hold at the top. Exhale through the nose. Let's do 3 more at your own breath now. And once you've finished, go ahead and remove any props, and we'll just get moving. Starting on all fours today, moving into a cat-cow. Palms plant firmly into the ground, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Inhale, belly comes to the floor, look up, head comes up, tailbone comes up, cow. And exhale, chin to chest, round the spine, tuck the pelvis, cat. Inhale for your cow. And exhale for your cat. Two more at your own breath. Coming back to a neutral spine. Tuck the toes behind. Press the hands into the floor. Press the toes into the floor. We'll come into a downward facing dog right away. Begin to raise the hips to the sky with a flat back. See if you can make a nice long straight line from your arms all the way up through the back and into the hips. And then if it feels good, you can begin to straighten the legs and also lay your heels down as much as you can. Breathing here. Can bend one knee and then the other if that feels good. Whatever works for you. Planting the left foot into the earth, let's raise the right leg up to the sky. From here, we're squaring off the hips towards the floor. We don't want to open our hip too far. Right now, we're squaring our hips off towards the floor. We could even flex the toes down towards the floor. Take a breath in. On the exhale, with that leg still up, if you can, come into a plank position. On the inhale, we're going to bring that knee to the outside of the right elbow, and then we'll plant the right foot on the outside of the right hand for a little runner's lunge. On the next inhale, let's bring that foot back to a plank. And on the exhale, press into a downward facing dog. Let's do that 2 more times on the same side. Raise the right leg, inhale. Exhale, coming to a plank. Nice and slow. Inhale, knee to elbow, and then foot to outside of the right hand. Step back into your plank, and downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, knee to elbow, plant the foot. Runner's lunge. Step back into a plank, inhale, and exhale, downward facing dog. Let's move on to the other side. Inhale, raise the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, come down for that plank. Knee to elbow, left foot to the outside of the left hand. Back into a plank, inhale, and exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, raise that left leg. Exhale, come into that plank. Left knee to left elbow. Plant the foot on the outside of the hands. Runner's lunge. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, plank. Exhale, Adho Mukha. One more time. Inhale, raise that leg. Coming into the plank on the exhale. Knee comes to elbow. Foot to the outside of the left hand. Runner's lunge. Inhale, back to plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Great job. Come up onto the toes, bend the knees, peek between the hands, and walk to the top of your mat. Let's ragdoll for just a few moments here. Bend the knees so that the torso rests on the thighs. Grab your opposite elbows or just let your hands hang here. Shoulders away from the ears. I like to roll my neck out a little bit in this position. You can do whatever you like. You can rock back and forth. And on the next inhale, let's take 2 full cycles of breath to roll all the way up to a stand. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Ragdoll roll all the way up. Shoulders, head, and neck are the last things to come up. When you've arrived, palms shine forward, close off the eyes, feel the weight in all 4 corners of the feet, and breathe. Notice if you feel any different. When you're ready, open up the eyes. Coming into a chair position. Inhale, hands come up to the sky. Bending the knees, sitting our bums down. Weight comes more into the glutes and the heels. Breathe here. Take a nice deep breath in. And sigh out through the mouth. One more inhale. Uttanasana, forward fold. Straighten the legs and fold forward. On the inhale, roll up one more time. This time just one full cycle of breath. Inhale halfway and exhale all the way up. A couple more times. Inhale, lower the glutes. Arms come up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll up halfway. Exhale, roll up all the way. One more time. Inhale, arms come up, glutes come down, chair. Uttanasana. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, coming up halfway. And exhale, coming up all the way to a stand. One more time. We inhale, glutes in our Uttanasana, arms come up. Exhale, Uttanasana. From here, plant the hands onto the mat. Step the right leg all the way back so that we're in a lunge position. Let's go ahead and square off our hips before we do anything else. Left hip wraps towards the back of the room. Right hip wraps towards the front. Once you've got that down, pretend like you're squeezing your inner thighs together. Press the weight into both the feet and come up to a stand. High lunge, crescent lunge. Remembering to keep squaring off those hips. Shoulders away from the ears. Take one more inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to bring our hands down to our side and hinge our bodies forward, just the torso forward. It's kind of a little intense on the legs, and that's all right. We're waking our bodies up. Inhale, coming back to the stand, arms come up. Exhale, hinge forward, arms come back. You can even press your arms pretty high up behind you if that feels good. Straight arms though. Inhale, back up one more time. And exhale, hinge. Plant the hands. Step that back foot in a couple inches, maybe 3 or 4. And keep the hips squared off. Inhale with your hands on your shins or on the floor. Come to a flat back or on a block. And exhale with as flat of a back as you can. We'll fold forward into this pyramid pose. Try and create a nice long line in the back of your neck. We don't want it to be rounded. We also don't want to be looking up too much. Create some neutrality. And come into the moment. Notice your feet planted into the earth. Notice whatever your hands are doing. It doesn't have to be any specific way. Just notice it. Start to bend the front knee, plant the hands in front of that foot, and step back up into your forward fold. And hang here for just a moment. Inhale, we roll up halfway to a stand, and exhale all the way. Inhale, both hands come up. Uttanasana, chair pose. Weight is mostly in the heels. Forward fold, Uttanasana, straighten the legs. Plant the hands into the earth. Step back with your left foot in that low lunge, squaring off the hips. Left hip wraps towards the front, right hip wraps towards the back. And you feel like you've got your inner thighs squeezed together pretty good. Press into the feet, raise both hands up to the sky. Crescent lunge. And take one more inhale here. And exhale, we hinge forward just like the other side, keeping our back flat. Try and become parallel with the floor. Inhale, hands come up, body comes up. Exhale, hinge forward. One more time, inhale, crescent lunge. And exhale, fold forward, hinge forward, in that lunge still. Plant the hands, step the back foot in a couple inches, keeping the hips squared off to the front. Inhale, hands to block, mat, shin for a flat back. And exhale, fold forward, nice neutral spine. It's okay if the front knee's bent a little bit. Don't worry. We're all on our own journeys. Plant the hands on either side of the foot. Weight comes into the hands, and we'll step back this time with that right leg into a downward facing dog, pressing the hips up to the sky. Let's just do a little bit more movement before we take a rest here. On the inhale, your knees can come up or down, so just remember, you always have the choice. On your inhale, let's see if we can wave our body around it, kind of like in that cat pose, all the way to a plank position. And on the exhale, see if we can make that cow position. Our hips come up, our belly comes towards the floor, and press our way back into a downward facing dog. Become like water here. Inhale, round the spine. Weight comes forward onto the hands into that plank. Again, knees can be up or down. In, exhale, that cow position, downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale, round the spine, all the way into your plank. And exhale, that cow position, round and downward facing Adho Mukha. One more time, we're going to round the spine, inhale to that plank. Take an exhale here. One more inhale. Sigh out through the mouth. Lower the knees. Big toes come together, knees come apart. Sit back into the heels, stretch your arms out in front of you, child's pose. You can rest your forehead into the mat or your chin if your throat is very open. Slowly begin to walk your way back up to all fours. Planting the left hand right underneath, the wrist right underneath the left shoulder. Raise the right arm up to the sky, open up to the right. Inhale here. And exhale, let's thread the needle. Bring that shoulder all the way onto the ground from wherever you are, hips stay in the sky. Rest your head on the mat. Stretch your left arm up and over the ear if that feels good. From here, this is just an option. Feel free to not if you don't want to. I like to take my left arm and just open it out behind me as much as I can. Get like an opening for the shoulder and the armpit and just kind of go as far as I can. I'm gonna just try and make a little circle and come back to where I started. Bending the left arm, pressing that left palm into the earth. We come all the way back up to where we started from. Open up to the right with the left arm, the right arm. And exhale, plant the hands. Prepare for side 2. Pressing the right arm into the mat. Inhale, left arm comes up to the sky. And exhale, thread your needle all the way through. Hips stay in the sky. Get your hair out of your face. Straight arm over that ear if that feels good, or wherever feels good. You can also keep that arm bent and giving you a little more support. If you would like, if you practiced on the other side, go ahead and try to open that right arm out towards the back of the mat, towards the back of the room. Come into a big circle, just opening up that shoulder in every place. And then meet back where you started. Bend that right arm, plant the palm, straighten that arm, open up to the left with the left arm. And plant that hand. Let's take just a couple more cat-cows. Keep our blood flowing. Also just to open up anything that we couldn't quite get at the beginning of our practice when we weren't very warm. Inhale as we look up, hips come up. And exhale as we round. Just moving at your own breath. Before we come to lie down, we're going to come into a frog position. So you might need to turn to the side of your mat so that your knees are supported. Also feel free to pad up the sides of your mat kind of close to you so that you have a little bit more cushion under your knees. We're coming into a frog. So with that being said, that means that we are going to, with both hands on the floor, not one, I'm just trying to move my pants so you can see. We're going to just open our knees up as wide as we can. And the goal is to create a right angle with our thighs and with our lower leg. So we might not be very far, we might be really far. It doesn't matter, we're just getting a big stretch on the inner thighs. If it feels good to keep your hands planted, your shoulders up, as long as your shoulders are away from the ears, that's fine. If you would like to go a little farther or whatever feels comfortable, you can grab a pillow, pad up, or just come down to your forearms. You can also come to lie onto your belly if that's comfortable. Whatever feels good. Taking a few breaths here. And slowly begin to come back to center if you were off center at all. Come onto either your hands or your forearms. And then to come out of this pose, we're just going to kind of inch our way forward like an inchworm so that we don't put any extra stress on our legs until we're able to kind of straighten our legs back out behind us. We could even take a quick cobra before we come to lie down. Let's start with a Sphinx actually, elbows underneath the shoulders. I might not be comfortable wherever you are in the ground. We won't be here for long. And if it feels good, press into the hands. Begin to straighten the arms, lift the elbows off of the mat. You can keep your elbows bent, straight, whatever feels good. Breathe here. And sigh out through the mouth. Slowly we lower back down onto the elbows, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, and we press our way to all fours, and we fix our mat. And then come to a seat with our legs straight out in front of us at the top of the mat. From here, we're just going to take a quick boat. I promise it'll be quick. Just to keep us moving, we're going to create a nice letter V with our thighs and with our torso. So that means we're not sitting straight up, we're leaning back a little bit until you can feel a little bit of engagement in the core. You can bring your hands behind your knees. And then if that feels pretty easy, you can also start to bring your feet up just a little bit. The goal is to bring your shins parallel to the earth. Once you're here, if it feels good, you can straighten the arms. And if it also feels really, really good, you can begin to straighten the legs. Breathe here. One more inhale. One more exhale. Sigh it out. Slowly lower the feet and the hands down. And see if you can keep this abdominal activation to lower yourself all the way to lie down. Whatever you need to do. Sometimes straightening out the legs gives you a little more leverage, makes it a little bit easier to move slow. And take your time. Lay all the way down. Take a breath. And we'll just come into a spinal twist before we come to rest. So let's bring our hands into goalpost, making a little box with our arms. And then see if we can just bring the knees into the chest while our arms are in the goalpost box position. Take an inhale here. On the exhale, bring your legs over to the right side all the way. See if you can keep your left shoulder on the mat. If you can't, that's okay, but we want to get a big spinal twist. Gaze can look over the left shoulder if that feels good. Inhale brings our legs back to center, our head back to center. See if you can keep your arms where they are. And exhale, we bring our legs off over to the left side for a twist. Look over the right shoulder if that feels good. If you feel as though this version of the spinal twist is a little easy for you, then feel free to just focus on aligning both of your knees. Bring that right knee a little bit closer towards the left knee, and you'll get a little bit deeper of a stretch. Or just do whatever you want, because it's your life. Next inhale slowly brings us back to center one more time. Go ahead and grab hold of your knees. Give yourself a big squeeze. Try and squeeze everything for just a second. Squeeze your toes, your glutes, your legs, your arms, your neck, your face. Scrunch your face. Squeeze your shoulders into your ears. Give everything a big squeeze. Exhale all your air here while you're squeezing. And on the inhale, release, straighten out the legs, relax the arms out wherever feels comfortable. Release, shoulders away from the ears. Take a moment to make yourself comfortable here. And while you're doing so, I'll read you a little quote. This quote is by Martha Graham. All that is important is this one moment in movement. Make the moment important, vital, and worth living, and do not let it slip away unnoticed and unused. Breathing here, taking a moment to let your nervous system connect with all of the work that you've just done. Relaxing every part of your body, letting the breath flow freely, releasing the need to do anything specific right now except be. Now, if you have a little bit of extra time, I recommend just pausing, staying a few more minutes. But if you're ready to exit your Shavasana, slowly begin to deepen the breath here. Notice the rise and the fall of the belly. We'll begin to make a few small movements, wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, wiggle the toes. Breathe here while you wiggle your fingers and your toes. You move your wrists and ankles around. Take a nice, delightful morning stretch. Bring your hands over the head. A long stretch from fingertips to toes here. Ooh. When you're ready, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then roll over onto your favorite side in a fetal position. You can rest your head on that lower bicep like a pillow. Maybe you smile. This was a short class, but meaningful nonetheless. You took the time to be mindful, to notice what you're doing with your body, and to give your mind a rest from the chatter that happens to us all. When you're ready, press yourself up to a seated position. You can keep the eyes closed for just a couple more seconds while you do this. Stay meditative for just a few more moments. Bring your hands up to your heart center, Anjali Mudra. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Audible H-A ha, sigh out through the mouth. One more time, just like that. Inhale. H-A ha. Come back to a gentle breath here. Notice how you feel. Maybe a smile comes to your lips, or maybe just an internal smile comes to you. Thank you so much for joining me, yogis, today, for making time for yourself, for that connection, because it really does make a difference to the whole world around you. So it also was helpful to me. Thank you. The light in me honors and respects and loves the light within all of you. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me, yogis. I hope I can keep helping you become more mindful as much as possible. I'm so thankful for your support. And I miss all of you in my real classes, but I'm so happy to be here now to help anyone get a good practice in.